I'm getting dizzy here. Hello. Do you ever ask questions?
What's he doing hanging upside down? Is he completely bonkers?
No, of course I'm not completely bonkers. It's obvious why I'm hanging upside down, isn't it? It's to attract your attention and to encourage you to ask questions. Because this is a series of programmes which is all about questions. Excuse me, I'm just in the middle of all this, Timmy. Well, you just hang on there, Timmy, OK? We'll tell him what it's about. It's all about questions.
And here's a question. How many questions a day do you ask your friends at school? And what is missing in George's mega mystery?
It was on that mystery day that George took along his mystery parcel. A mega one. A mega mystery. Of course, by the end of the day, all his friends would surely find out what's inside. George walked to school, thinking about all the questions he'd have to answer and how excited everyone would be to find out. Mrs. Cloggs would be the first to speak to him that day, so she'd probably be the first to get the answer.
Good morning, George. What's that tie you're wearing?
Oh, not the question he'd expected. But then came Mr. Slice. He'd ask a question for sure.
Morning, George. What meat would your mum like this week?
Meat? George's mum? What about his mystery? At the school gates was Miss Morgan, the school caretaker. When she noticed George come in, she stopped at once.
George, good morning. Where did you get those shoes from?
One thing about adults, they don't always ask you what you expect them to ask. So George took his mega mystery on into school.
George! Come here, quick!
Oh, the head spotted it now. He'll be the first to find out.
There's something different about you this morning. Now, what is it? What have you got on your hand there?
On my hand, thought George. Oh, well, at least he could rely on his friends to be full of questions.
George, why are you looking so sad? Why are you so late? Are you playing tonight? Have you lunch at Spallings?
George, where's your dinner money?
Even his teacher didn't seem to ask him about his mega mystery. At lunchtime, there's always lots of questions to be asked.
Do you want custard, George?
In many ways, it was all a little bit strange. I mean, when a chap has such a large mega mystery, you do rather think that the odd question about it might find its way into the conversation somewhere during the day. Do you like football? Will you pass the ball? On any day at any school, there's always lots of questions being asked and being answered. But at the end of this day, as the children went home, George had just one.
Why did nobody ask me what was in my parcel?
And he felt a little bit sad.
Well, what's in it? I want to know. Could it really have been like that?
Because it'd be quite rude to ask him what's in parcel. He may not know himself. It was okay, but it got a bit boring because nobody would carry a parcel around all day and wait. He might be waiting for him to ask him, but I doubt he'd carry it around all day. Well, it might have been his birthday or something like that, and nobody asked him what was in it. So they can't have been very interested, and that must have made him feel sad.
These programmes are all about asking different types of questions and how those questions can make us really think about all sorts of things.
You join us here in the midst of a very exciting competition. This is Timmy Towers, handmade by my hands. It's utterly brilliant, and what we've got here are two teams who are going to ask as many questions as they possibly can. You get a point for every question you ask, so it's the team with the most number of questions who wins. Go! Right.
What are materials made of? Why do you have to have colour? Why can't the towel be on the floor? Where's the door? Where's the kitchen? Why is there funny feathers? Why is there plastic cups? Why is there strings? Why have you got
plastic
cups?
Eight questions, very good indeed. Now, can this do better?
How many boxes have you used? Where did you get your straws from? Where did you get the feathers from? Why did you use McDonald's straws? Why are you so stupid? And why did...
I beg your pardon.
I think that's a five.
How many?
That's a five. She
Not
said
bad.
6, but we'll say that's
Not
five.
bad. So this team is the winner. And so was Timmy Towers. Right, now then, EQDAs. What does that stand for? Easy question, difficult answer. I'll give you an example.
What is this flagpole made of?
That's an easy question with an easy answer, because it's made, of course, of cardboard.
But Why is it coloured green and orange? And is that a good colour?
Well, that's an easy question with a difficult answer, because it's green and orange because, well, I had some green stripy stuff which I wound around and it was orange.
Easy question, difficult answer.
That's very hard. But listen, during the course of this programme, we'll give you some more EQDAs, which we will easily answer, hopefully. There will be questions like, how many bricks are there in Westminster Abbey? When is a fire station not a fire station? And what makes a building special?
And I'm glad to say that today we're going to be asking questions about real buildings, buildings which are special to some people, not weird ones like Timmy's. For example, take a look at this one. There are questions that we can ask about it which aren't EQDAs, but which are quite easy to answer. Mark, do you know what this building was first built for?
It was first built for a fire station in 1888.
And how do you know that?
I asked somebody who worked here.
Great, thank you. So it was built as a fire station. But what happens in it now? Hazra, do you know what happens here now?
It's a Buddhist center where people worship and meditate here.
And how did you find that out?
I asked somebody who meditates here.
Great, thank you. But there is at least one EQDA to ask here, which is, this building is still the same shape as when it was first built, except for the doors. So what makes this building special to hundreds of people who come here each week? If you were to come inside, you might begin to find out the answer.
OK, here's a question nobody's ever asked before, so we're going to ask it today. This is Westminster Abbey, probably the most famous religious building in Britain, and the question is, how many stones are there in the building? Well, we've got some help today because they put some scaffolding up so we can climb right to the very top and actually do some counting. And I'm going to need some help from some helpers. So we have...
Saborak. Sophie. Melanie.
So have you ever counted stones before?
No.
Have you got your maps?
Yes.
Good. Calculators?
Yes.
Fingers? Toes? Brilliant, let's go count the stones. Let's find out how the others are getting on. Saborak, how many have you counted?
10,000.
10,000? 10,000? How'd you got 10,000 already? Ouch!
What's up?
How many have you got?
I've got 10,000.
10,000. Where's Melanie?
She's still over there, I think.
Okay, 10,000 and 10,000. Melanie, how many have you got?
10,000.
10,000, 10,000, 10,000. How much is that? I've no idea. I'll have to start again. 1, 2, 3. Wow! This is brilliant! Right at the very top of Westminster Abbey. And there's even more stones up here. There's hundreds and squillions of them. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Who are you?
Donald Buttress.
Ah, the surveyor of the fabric.
That's right.
The architect.
That's right.
Donald Buttress, the man they named the Flying Buttresses after.
Could have been.
Brilliant. Now, there are just hundreds and thousands of stones here. How many are there?
Oh, millions, I expect. Been here since the 13th century.
What do you mean you expect? Don't you know?
Oh, I've never tried counting, but it'd be very difficult.
Now, I want to find the exact number, because if we don't know how many there are, it'll be a bit tricky, won't it?
Well, have you ever thought, though, does it matter? Is there not a more important question to be asked? Why?
What do you mean a more important question than a number of stones? Why what?
Well, the reason why the building's here, perhaps, altogether. That's much more important.
Is it? Well, what is the reason that it's here?
Well, it's a great shrine of national history and a monument to the faith of generations of people that have been here on this spot.
Well, you've really got me thinking now. You'll never guess.
What?
We've been asking the wrong question.
We know that.
What do you mean you know that? What do you know?
Well, Queen Elizabeth I was buried here. William the Conqueror was crowned here. And it's over 900 years old.
And we were asking how many stones there are in the building. We must be bonkers. The moral of the story is, always ask the right question.
Question is, what makes a building special? The children here have built these wonderful buildings, and they all make you feel something different as soon as you enter them. We've invited artist Anthony Green, our very own expert, to come and see what he thinks. After all, he is a real artist, and he should know. The only problem is, I can't find him.
I mean here. They're wonderful, these buildings. The children have built their feelings into them. Warm, comfortable, some of them frightening, anxious, reassuring. They're wonderful. I'm so impressed. Come on, let's go and have a look at some more of them. I'm in the pink. It's wonderful. It's rose-coloured glasses. It's all pink in there. This building's wonderful. I think it's exciting too. It's got sound and pictures and vision and books and cushions. Oh, they knew exactly which colour to choose to make me feel comfortable or happy. And the sad house with the grey bricks and the frightening house with a lot of black made sense. Colour spoke to me. This building is terrifying. It's got witches and bats and spiders and daggers and black cats. And it's not very nice, and I'm not sure I want to be in here.
We put spiders in it.
I'm getting out of here. I really want to go. The children put into the making of these buildings their emotions, their feelings. If they wanted a building to be safe and reassuring, it became home-like. They knew what they were doing. Ceiling's good. Lovely. It's all pale blue and gold and purple. Yes, this is all right. Yeah, I'm going to stay.
Here's a question about a special building, the temple in Jerusalem. Why was it built on a special spot? The answer may be found in the old Jewish story of a dream of King Solomon.
Once upon a time, there was a field owned by two brothers. They got on really well and they worked really hard to make things grow. And after work, each of them would go home to their own houses. Now, one of them lived in a house in a corner of the field, and he lived there perfectly happily, all on his own. Just him and a few animals. Oink, oink, moo, bah! Now, the other brother went home each night to his house in the opposite corner of the field. He was married and lived happily with his wife and several children, who sometimes sounded like animals with all the noise that they made. One evening, while he was busy working, the single brother, who lived on his own, got to thinking for a bit. Why do my brother and I get exactly the same, he said to himself. He's got several mouths to feed, but there's only one of me. I know, in the morning I'll take him some of the crops from my barn. Uh-oh, that'll never work, he said to himself. He'll never accept them. I know, as soon as it's dark, I'll take a sack from my barn, go across the field and over the hill to his barn, and then I'll slip back home and he'll never know how it got there and he'll have a lovely surprise. Now, at exactly the same moment, the married brother wondered to himself, why do my brother and I get exactly the same? Here's me with a wonderful family, but he's got nobody at all. I wonder if he's lonely. In the morning, I'll take him some of the crops from my barn. Uh-oh, that'll never work. He'll never accept them. I know, he said to himself, as soon as it's dark, I'll take a sack from my barn, go across the field and over the hill to his barn, and then I'll slip back home and he'll never know how it got there, and he'll have a lovely surprise. And that's exactly what they did. At the dead of night, as the owls hooted, twit, twoo, each of the brothers crept secretly into his brother's barn, laid down his gift and hurried back again. But when they got back to their own barn, they were utterly mystified. There was a sack still there. So they took it back to their brother's store again. And again. And again. And again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And there was always one more sack. There were sacks and sacks of love. And as dawn broke, the two brothers crossed on the top of the hill. And finally, they saw each other face to face. Ah, it's you! And when they realised what had happened, they started to laugh and laugh and laugh. And they hugged and they danced all morning. And so, on that very spot, this building appeared, built on love.
Question. Just how many different religious buildings are there in your area? Do you know the answer? Well, the children here do, because they've done a project to find out. And this is their report.
We went out to find out how many religious places there were near our school. There are lots of religious buildings outside, and we made clay models of them. So that we know where all the religious buildings are, we drew this map. This is the synagogue, and it takes 5 minutes to walk down to the road to the mosque. We went out to look at the buildings for ourselves, and we took lots of photographs. I went to a church and a synagogue. This is my friend, he's wearing a toki. After we visited, we made these models out of cardboard. We counted at least 8 religious buildings near our school. They came from lots of different faiths. And we had a great time doing it.
This building, a gurdwara, plays a big part in Sukhdev's life. He's a Sikh. Do you know what happens inside?
My name's Sukhdev, and I have one brother and one sister. My family are Sikhs. My mum works in Debenhams, my dad's an engineer. On Sunday we go to pray at the Gurdwara.
This building is so special that Sukhdev's mum and dad touch a piece of the holy floor on the way in. And inside, everyone behaves in a special way.
Before entering the prayer hall, I take off my shoes as a mark of respect, and then I wash my hands and go upstairs.
Upstairs, worship is underway, and Sukhdev can enjoy listening to the music and joining in with the prayers.
I bow down before the Guru Granth Sahib, our holy book, and make an offering which helps run the temple. The Gurdwara is our temple. Its name means the door of the Guru, or God's house. Men and women sit separately. The service lasts for several hours, so people can come and go as they please.
Because the Guru Granth Sahib is a special holy book for Sikh people, it's treated with great respect, and there's a magnificent canopy over it.
Music is very important in our temple. The musicians sing hymns from the holy book, and we join in. The Gurdwara is not just a place of worship, it is also a meeting place for everyone. I also help serve the food in our community kitchen called Langar. Food is served to anyone who wishes to eat. It is nice to share a meal together. Everyone is made welcome to our Gurdwara. Yeah, right, but
Now that brings us to the end of questions, but the question is, can you remember all the questions that we have asked in this episode of Questions?
No, can you?
Well, how many stones are there in Westminster Abbey?
Oh, yes, and what makes a fire station not the fire station?
What's inside a Buddhist centre?
And what makes a building special?
And what was inside George's parcel?
Search me.
Why, do you know?
Of course not.
Now,